And all I could look at when I look at this footage is a giant dancing nose in the background. Who does this? TCL had a display where all their TVs were rotating, which I know is something that I will personally take advantage of at home, as when I am watching a movie, I too like to vomit. Hey, look, it's me. I'm up there in the big blue screen. I think I should celebrate by waving my arms in a very unnatural way. I know you guys might be burnt out on content from this year's Consumer Electronics Show. After all, there was massive coverage across all media platforms. No, it was mostly just me. But in any event, that was a week ago, and why am I still talking about it? Well, I was going over a bunch of the footage that we had shot while we were walking around on the show floor, basically the last day that we were there, and there's a bunch of things that I wanted to touch on and talk about that wouldn't really fit into their own dedicated video. So this is going to be that, basically my last CES video for 2022. It was a great time. The show was less stressful. There weren't as many people there. The reps that we met with were enthusiastic and personable and very much wanted to take a meeting with us where they talked about the products in depth as opposed to just kind of checking off a list of things that they were supposed to be saying. I had some meaningful discussions with people that I hadn't been able to have over the past 2 years now, and it was good to be able to experience a CES without having to worry about fitting in 25 different appointments over the course of 5 days. So this was a little more relaxing, allowed us to experience Las Vegas a little bit more, also get in a lot of really good meetings and have a lot of productive conversations. So this is our last CES video for 2022. I hope you enjoy. BPS Customs coverage of CES 2022 is powered by Height and the new Revolt 3 Mini ITX enclosure. Portable yet packed with features including dual headphone hangers, a sturdy handle, and support for full-length graphics cards, the Revolt 3 is perfect as a compact desk piece or to bring with you on the go. Take your gaming setup to the next level with the Height Revolt 3. Check out the link down below for more information. Just like in years past, Sony had one of the largest booths on the show floor, and this year they were showing off not one, but 2 electric vehicles that they will likely never produce. The first is the Vision S1, and the new one in gray is the Vision S2. Now basically these are very similar vehicles. One is more of a crossover SUV type, and the Vision S1 is the sedan. I don't know if it's even really worth talking about specs of these cars because, like I said, the likelihood that these actually go into production is very, very small. However, they did talk about things like 4.8 seconds 0 to 60 and 149 mile an hour top speed, all-wheel drive, variable ground clearance based on like air suspension, and other specs that honestly don't really matter all that much. These are very interesting as concepts, but again, it seems very unlikely we'll actually see these on the road. A product that they were showing off that actually has a lot more practical application and is already for sale is the Airpeak S1, their cinema drone. Now this is a $9,000 professional cinema drone. It is not made for your average consumer, but I thought it was really cool that they were showing it off along with a breakdown of all the parts that they use to build them and how they control the smoothness of the footage that you get through gimbals and other stabilizing effects. This isn't going to have a lot of mass market appeal, but I think the technology used here will eventually trickle down into a lot of consumer products. They were also showing off something called Starsphere, which, just as it looks, is a small satellite with a camera on it. It's user controlled. So once it's launched in 2022, using a simulator, users can control the satellite to capture the Earth and stars, as Sony says, exactly as they are intended. Look at this clip. I was talking to a rep from a company called iSmell, and all I could look at when I look at this footage is a giant dancing nose in the background. Who does this? People at CES do this, and this was a lot of fun. iSmell makes phone cases that smell like different things. They were showing off bubblegum and orange at the booth, and they had a very strong odor which they said lasts for 6 months and can be renewed. They also said that if you wanted them to make a certain odor, like you wanted a phone to smell like your ex-girlfriend, yes, you could do that. And then you could be creepy on a whole nother level. As it's currently extremely cold here in Maryland and snowing like crazy, I do wish that I had access to the products from the company called Snowbot, which makes, effectively, a Roomba for your driveway and walkway that will clear a path for you, so your lazy ass doesn't have to do it. TCL had a display where all their TVs were rotating, which I know is something that I will personally take advantage of at home, as when I am watching a movie, I too like to vomit. I also took a meeting with a company called Okai. Now, that brand name might not be familiar to you, but if you have been in any major US city and seen them infested with Lime scooters, well, Okai makes all of those scooters, and now they are branching out into their own products. So they're going to have stand-up scooters, sit-down scooters, and electric bikes releasing in the next year. I got to test out some of them, and they were really fun. And the people who were showing me around the booth and explaining to me all their products were very enthusiastic and very personable, and it was an awesome meeting. This is what CES is supposed to be about, actually getting to meet the people who are making these products and really have a passion for them. And that passion really does come through. When I walked by this product demo, I couldn't help but stop to check it out because it looked really cool, and the sign on top of it said, "Meet your virtual twin." And although I'm not quite sure that I'd want to do that, what they were demoing was actually a medical device. This is going to help doctors work remotely and diagnose patients that they can't see in person. What I forgot when I was talking to the rep was that my name badge for CES said Dr. Brian Stroh, because, well, I'm an idiot, and she said that this would be very helpful to me in my practice as a medical doctor. But then I just decided to pretend if I could see what this guy was thinking. Hey, look, it's me. I'm up there in the big blue screen. I think I should celebrate by waving my arms in a very unnatural way. But of course they were cars. This was an electric Formula E car. There were also sort of cars. This is a platform that you're supposed to be able to put different things on depending on your need. There were other actual cars, like this Jeep Magneto edition. There was me getting in my cameraman shots. And there was a LiDAR demo where we saw ourselves sort of on LiDAR. CES might never go back to the way it was before. A lot of companies probably realize that they can do their own virtual events or blast out an email and reach the same number of people, if not more, without incurring the expense of an in-person show. I do, however, hope that a lot of companies return to Las Vegas for next year's CES 2023, as not only did I miss seeing a lot of the product reps and meeting with the companies that you guys come here for, like Asus and Corsair, who didn't show up, but also it's good to see my friends. It's good to see fellow YouTubers, and I definitely missed that this year with everybody basically staying home with good reason. I hope you guys enjoyed this year's coverage of CES 2022. It was a lot of fun bringing it to you live from the show floor, and I'll definitely be back next year. Take care, everybody. See you next week.